Hi everyone and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This episode is all about the New South Wales Tournament Series Round 3, which was held at St Georges Basin, launching out of Sussex Inlet. A great little round and good to see some new faces and some old familiar faces. It's a great episode. I can't wait to get into it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So obviously St Georges Basin for me is a place that's a little bit near and dear to my heart. The start of the Southern Bream Series was down there and now it's good to see tournaments being run out of there. With this one, the New South Wales Tournament Series launching out of Sussex, which is something I've never done, but it did look really nice. If you jump on Facebook, there's a heap of photos to have a look about. A couple of interesting things with the fish activity on this one. Starting on the Saturday, we had 94 in the fish activity wheel, was so high. Major bite period at 10:02 through to 12:32 p.m. High tide was at 7:51 at 1:33. Low was at 2:01 at 0.28. On the Sunday, perfect 100 in the fish activity wheel. Supposedly the best fishing day ever. We had a minor bite period at 5:37 through to 7:07. Major bite period in the afternoon at 12:42 through to 1:12 p.m. High tide was at 8:29 at 1.28, running down to a low tide at 2:26 at 0.31. Anyway, it was good to catch up with a couple of old mates from back in the day and get to see some good results on the boards. Let's get into the angler interviews. Here's Wal. All right, so coming in third place, we have Team Shiano Nevermind. They dropped 5 fish for 2.89 kilos on the Saturday. Backed it up on the Sunday with the biggest bag for the comp of 5 fish for 3.67, giving them a total of 10 fish for 6.56 kilos. And a third place, I have Wild Bowls in here. Welcome to the show, mate.
Hey, Andrew. Thanks for having me, mate.
No worries. It's good to see you back on the scene. I haven't crossed paths for a little while.
Yeah, I haven't fished them as religiously as I used to, but I do like fishing anything that comes local, home waters or closer. I still love it, mate. I still love it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm sure we all miss the Southern Bream rounds down and around that way.
Have a good time.
They were. They really were. Anyway, mate, listen, you fished with Chris. Now tell us, did you get a chance to get out and have a look around for a pre-fish?
We did, mate. There was actually a 1-week ban, so living local, I took an annual leave day on the Friday and Chris was able to have the day off as well, just to have a look around, mate. And I'm glad we did. I know that some teams didn't get that opportunity and we sort of rolled into our first spot at 7 a.m. on the Friday and it was unfishable for jellyfish.
No way.
I've been fishing here at the basin for 25 years, I reckon, and I've never seen them as thick as they were on that weekend. First spot was 14 feet deep and it was just, I put the electric down and we just looked around and went, wow. We didn't even have a throw, mate. I electriced around and went a bit shallower. It was just, by then, I wasn't sort of happy with where the boat was positioned and we moved and we moved. The next spot wasn't that far away and 22 feet deep and same thing, mate. We didn't even cast.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't mind fishing deep, especially when it's calm and, when the water's starting to cool off at the basin, and there were so many spots that I just didn't even go to after that.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
You would fly across the basin and you could sort of feel them coming off the prop or the skeg or whatever. That's how thick they were.
Wow, that's crazy. And were they just the big sort of brown ones? Is that what they were?
Yeah, the big brown ones, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So did you catch any fish on pre-fish at all?
Yes. So Our third spot was where we spent probably 90% of our time in the comp. We pulled up on the third spot, just thought we'd try something a bit shallower due to the jellyfish, and mate, I lost the beast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, being pre-fish, it would have been nice to catch it, but it gave us a spot and it gave us a lure. So, yeah, we were pretty happy with that. And we didn't have another throw there just in case. We left it, and, yeah, that turned it out to be our spot. From there, we just spot hopped around and fished 15 feet and shallower for the pre-fish day. And, we caught them pretty much everywhere we went. It fished pretty well. Although it was pretty calm, it fished pretty well, mate. So, yeah, we basically 15 and shallower just to try and avoid the jellyfish. And, yeah, mate, we caught them in every corner of the basin. It fished really well in those depths. The only thing I didn't get a bream on was surface, and I tried. But it was pretty as well. We fished to about 11:30 pre-fish day. We were pretty happy with how things went, and, yeah, we had a plan, mate. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Did you find, you haven't fished there for a while, but back in the day you fished a lot. You find the old lures that you used to use worked?
for me, the 439, like it didn't work for me on the pre-fish. That's, that lure, mate. That's,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'd gone to a black ZX30, got a few fish on that, and the Juros worked, mate. We were throwing Juros. Chris throws a few Hurricane Sprats. But, yeah, that it's just that profile, mate, that colour, that profile, you can fish it light, you can fish it a little heavier, and, yeah, they still work.
Yeah, right. So tell me, do you have a stockpile of Juros?
Yeah, I do, mate, yeah.
Very good. All right, let's roll around to comp day. Tell us about Saturday, how it started for you, how you went about getting your bag.
Saturday, so we went back to the spot where I'd lost a decent fish on the pre-fish, and there'd been a full moon. So we got 2 fish pretty much straight away, and maybe because that, they were still maybe it was because they were still feeding through the night on that full bright moon, and then once the sun got up a bit, it just really shut down for us. But we thought, we were onto it, because on the pre-fish, like I said, we got one bite and moved, and then when we rolled in there first thing, to get 2 straight away, you think you've worked it out, and we hadn't. So it took us till about 11 to get 5. Even that, we did a bit of a move, not far, but just to go and try something a bit different, not far away. But I think the full moon can generally get a bit of a later bite because they've been feeding all night.
Yeah. And did you continue to fish that 15-foot mark and shallow? Is that sort of the zone you fish?
Yep. So over the 2 days of comp fishing, the majority of our fish would have come from sort of 8 to 9 feet deep.
Okay. And between the two of you, were you on the 439s or were you on Juros or Sprats? Or?
So after pre-fish, I cut my 439 off. I went over to a black ZX30, and, yeah, even day one, that lure got plenty of bites, a few fish, and Chris was persisting with a vibe, and he got a few nibbles and that, but it wasn't sort of till the second day that lure sort of came into its own. But yeah, the Sprats and the Juros worked all weekend.
Yeah, right. And can I ask how you're fishing them? Are you like throwing them out and ripping them across the top?
Yeah.
Or
like in real shallow, I'd say like 5 feet and shallower, sort of doing that sort of technique. And it really is in those depths, it's probably the first 5 meters or so that really counts. And after that, you're just winding it back and doing it again. If bream are in the area feeding and they see that, they eat it. There's not much point jiggling it all the way back to the boat. So, yeah, we did try them in those sort of 15, between 10 and 15, and not much luck on the plastics out there. It was more the vibes and the blades.
Okay. Interesting. Look, I'm interested in the Juros because it was a technique I didn't master when I was down there. You guys were all fishing, but I didn't work it out. Were you using like a 1/20th number one in them?
Mate, 120, yeah, it could be 128.
128, so a little bit lighter.
Yeah, something like that, mate. Yeah, to be honest, not completely sure, but it's pretty light.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, you got your bag by 11. How'd you go for upgrades?
On the first day, we got 9 legal fish. Hey, mate, we might have upgraded 1 or 2. We came off the water we certainly didn't have the bag from pre-fish. So we're a bit, and not knowing how other people have gone, not knowing it was pretty tough for everyone. You sort of don't know that until you get off the water. And we were just happy to get 5, mate. And then 2.8, at the basin, that's not great.
It's not great, but it's not horrible either.
Yeah. You look over the course of the 2 days, with the biggest fish going 920 grams or something. It was pretty tough for everyone.
Yeah, I think so. All right. You come back out on the Sunday. Tell us how it went for you. Did you hit up the same spots or how'd that work?
We went, so on the first day, we started almost last. So we were about midfield starting on the second day. So we got out to our spot a fair bit sooner. You got that channel to travel up. And so we got out to this same spot and Chris got 3 in no time, on the vibe. And we thought, wow, here we go. And then it shut down, mate. It really did shut down hard. There was less wind on the second morning. It took us to about 11:30 to get a bag, but we did venture away from the spot and got next to the jellyfish in about 17 foot, and I got one on a plastic. And then we went back and Chris got the fish of the bag on the vibe, We were back. So we had a reasonable one. And then again, for us, it just went real quiet, and we thought about moving and we weighed up. We sort of thought this spot was re-recruiting and that fish would travel through. And I guess we had a bit of a team meeting and just thought, we'll just stay here, And then it wasn't until really late in the day, we had the late finish on day 2, so the 2:20 finish, and the nor'easter got up. So with about 45 minutes to go, I just drove up the wind and lined up a really long drift, and we got over over the light sand. We weren't seeming to get many bites. It was more over the darker patches. I don't know if it's really thick weed, but just the bottom just gets darker in a few spots, and there was a school of fish there, mate, and we got 3 upgrades in about 15 minutes, like as quick as you could get them and get them off. We got 3 really good upgrades, and yeah, we were just stoked to have that late finish time, and that was it. We had to fly back.
Yeah, wow. Well, I'll tell you something. I don't know whether you follow the bite periods and what have you, but for that weekend on the Sunday, out of 100, the fish activity rating was 100. So supposedly as good as it could possibly get. But the bite period, which I think is interesting, was 12:42 p.m. for the major bite period through to 1:12. So right in the back into your session.
There you go, mate.
So not far off.
Yeah, to fish sort of an hour to an hour and a half for not a bite, and then just have this flurry. And, we had lures pulled down in that 15 minutes. We might have had 6, 7 bites. We had lures pulled down, pulled off, missed drop fish. There was a boat sort of coming around the back of us. We're trying to sort of almost guard the spot.
Yeah.
They were on the late finish time as well. And yeah, mate, the last sort of 15, 20 minutes was unreal. It was heaps of fun. It just reminds you how good it can be.
Yeah, that's crazy. And while you were talking there, I was thinking you got your first fish in the morning. So the minor bite period finished at 7:07, and you would have got your fish in that sort of 50 minutes after that, I'd imagine. something like that.
I reckon it was by about 7:45, Chris would have had 3 in the well. And we were just lucky, I guess, to get that little bit of an earlier midfield start. And no sooner than we're pulled up, he's caught one and then just managed to get another 2 after that. And then, mate, like, to see it, how it's shut down, and you got all these different lures you can cycle through, and it's a huge spot. Like, there's plenty of room. And we much had it to ourselves in the morning. Like, we had a bit of company later on, but in the morning, it was just us, and you just seen how finicky they can be.
Yeah, it's crazy, hey. It seems to line up that just after both bite periods, you both had your flurries of fish. So maybe the times were just off a little bit.
I think, especially with the full moon, mate, there's something in that.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, mate, all's well that ends well, mate. You ended up with the biggest bag of the comp, ended up in 3rd place. Tell us, just before we move off the fishing, do you remember what was your typical rod that you were using, sort of line and leader and that sort of stuff?
So I was using the medium Zodius with a 2.5 Stratic with 3-pound Power Pro and a 5-pound leader. That was mainly blading, and then throwing the Juros and that, it was an ultralight Zodius with a 3-pound Power Pro and a 4-pound leader with, I think like you said, mate, I think it was the 128 head. And Chriso had the Stratic with the new Shimano rod that I can't think of the name of it, mate.
I think we said before, it was maybe the Ascenza.
Yeah. He got it for the comp because he's going brim mad, but yeah, he was using that.
Yeah, well, mate, interesting. I won one of those last year and it was on my shelf for a little while and I started using it. I really like it. It's a budget price rod, but really nice.
Plenty for your money nowadays.
Absolutely. All right, mate. I reckon that's a good wrap up of the fishing. Tell us, what did you get to take home for 3rd place?
So we got the Monster Mover prize. So we went from 14th and into 3rd with the biggest bag of the comp as well. So we scored a stack of zip bait hard bodies for that.
Nice.
Yeah, quality.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So it might have been 12 or 13 hard bodies in that pack. And then for 3rd, we got $920. So being local and only having to really pay for fuel and an entry fee, it went a long way, mate.
That's pretty tidy. Very good. And first comp back for a little while.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It was good, eh?
Yeah.
I love the 2-day format. Grounds has done a great job running this. We went to their briefing and that, and it was great, mate. It was good to see some of the old faces and catch up with a few people.
100%. All right, mate. Look, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, definitely. Firstly, Shimano. I've been with them for maybe 12 years or could be more, mate. Been a long time with them. They supply me rods and reels, line, squidgies, all the stuff they push, mate. I love it. It's all quality stuff. And also Hunts Marine in Wollongong, mate. They service my outboard. And, yeah, couldn't do it without them.
Very good, mate.
Pointing at me and the what.
It's good to get a reminder, mate.
I've got reminded yet.
Very good. All right, mate. Now, listen, fantastic to talk to you again after a little while. And, mate, hopefully we see a bit more of you.
No worries. If there's a Hobie comp coming nearby, mate, I'll try and get on it.
No worries, mate. I'll keep you in the loop on that. All right, mate. Stay on the line.
All right.
Up next in 2nd place, we have Team Rise Above Plumbing. They dropped 5 fish for 3.58. Backed it up on the Sunday with 5 fish for 3.04, which gave them 10 for 6.62. And 2nd place, I have Mark and Glen. Welcome back to the show, guys.
How are you, boys?
Mate.
It's good to see you both. I've spoken to you both, but not together.
The elusive old team, eh? The elusive old school.
Yep, the Cromo and Rossi of old. But yes. All right. So with this one, let's go through your pre-feature or preparation. Did you guys get out and have a look around coming up to the comp?
Yeah, the day before, pretty well.
On the Friday? Yep.
I had a couple of days down there with the boat, just running around before I'd gone up to Clarence just basically to use the boat a bit. But it didn't really tell me much. I was catching bugger all down there, to be honest. I was more playing around with some new lures and bits and pieces. So the pre-fish day for us, I was out there. Rossi couldn't fish, but I went out on the pre-fish day and just sussed out a few bits and pieces, knowing what the fish sort of do this time of year. I thought it was important to try and knuckle down those sort of pre-spawn fish and try and work it out from there.
Yeah, okay. Okay, and which boat are you on at the moment?
I'm back on my boat from tomorrow, but we had Justin's tinny down there over the weekend, so back to basics. We little 60 or 50 horsepower and just plugging away with pretty basic sounders and basic everything. So
yeah, right. Like the old days.
Yeah, relying on the old, lining up the goalposts with a certain area or this point with that point. So
yeah. And tell me, so you guys have been fishing down there for a long time. Did all the old locations work for you? Like, did it come back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing
Good
changed,
answer.
mate. Oh, yeah.
It was the basin evolved a bit. There's been a few times we've been down there over the last sort of 5 or 10 years where it was a bit of a struggle, but I was sort of put it into the category of the basin of old. Yeah, we've been fishing together for 20 years down there now in that place. So, yeah, the deep worked a bit. We'll probably get into what we did, but, yeah, the deep sort of hasn't worked for ages for us in there, but it turned it on a bit that weekend. It was good.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, let's roll into Saturday. Yeah, tell us about how your day started and how you went about catching some fish.
So basically on Saturday morning, we had the bit of wind, so we thought we'd use the wind in the shallow water first up. I think it was a bit of a no-brainer. So we went. It was overcast conditions too. The sun was up. You weren't getting too much of that bite from the sun. So we were just fishing shallow, mate, just as shallow as we could get the boat sort of thing, and trying to sort of find those fish that were just sort of coming to, trying to get across the cockleweed and other like sorts of weed, and sort of found that bait was a bit hard to come across. So we just sort of tried to stick to those really shallow zones to fill a bag. And I think we had a bag by about 8 or 8:30 or something. And then as the sun sort of started to come up and started to show, we sort of pulled off the shallow banks and went a bit deeper.
Okay. So starting in the shallows, what are you throwing at them?
Juros. We were throwing actually pretty much just Juros, I think. I think we tried a bit of surface. We chuck a bit of surface.
Had no luck.
No luck on the surface. Yeah, that was pretty much our staple for sort of getting started in the morning. And then as we went deeper, our bait size got smaller and heavier. So we went off the edges and went into the deeper water, and we were throwing the 275 shrimp, or the prawn from Daiwa. That was the one that pretty much caught majority of the fish that we were catching in the deep. We went on to the gulp a little bit. We tried the gulp. I mean, we were catching fish on pretty much everything. I think we probably boated about 25 or 30 fish on day one. You reckon, Rossi? Somewhere there?
Yeah, quite easily that amount. It was very small upgrades, like you'd get 0.5 centimetre or 1 centimetre each fish. Yeah, but we did get slightly bigger fish in the shallow water, and on that technique that I explained last time I was on here with Shiano when we got second in the same system last year, that really shallow Juro-style lure, skipping along the top and dead sticking and just retrieving it back to the boat.
Yeah. And are you guys still fishing? Are you actually fishing Juros or are you fishing sprats?
So we use a bit of a mixture of all of them. I more go off the colours. So I've just got a box where I mix all of the different ones together. Just look at the colours and the colour of the water, and sort of go off that. The shallower that I'm going, the lighter I'll run, because you can't run a hurricane on just a hook. If you run a hurricane just a hook, it just sits and floats on the surface, doesn't sink at all. So they're no good for that. And predominant of fish, sort of better fish that I find are still getting caught that way, just having no weight on the hook. So Well, I mean, geez, we've still got the old, what were those ones, the smash baits? We've still got those in the mix. Yeah, I've got hundreds of packs of those still, and the standard, the green bottle Juros, 05 or whatever they were, and then Hurricanes, and then got a few other ones I've got from the States they're exactly the same as the smash baits, but they're all just sort of mixed together, mate. And then you just got to sort of work it out from there compared to the depth that you're in and the colour of the water that you're fishing and the colour of the weed that you're fishing. I'm sort of trying to match it. Like, there's no single shot. Like, it's easy and hard to explain to someone what you do on the flats with the Juro. You just throw a Juro all day, but there's a lot of different little bits and pieces that you do with it, or that you can change up to make a massive difference.
Yeah, interesting. And then when you said you went to the deeper, to the Daiwa 235 prawn.
Yep.
Is that the one you? Yep. You said you were heavier, so what were you running in those?
1/8 and 1/6 in a size 4 hook.
Wow, that surprised me.
Yeah.
Pretty deep, the 8 to 9 metre mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they just that small profile. Like back in the day, we used to use the tiny little Gulp grubs. What were they? Like that? They were tiny, the tiniest little grubs
with a round 211 G head.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they worked the ripper, and then we started using the worm, the Gulp worms, and cutting them down so they're only like 20 or 30 mil long.
Yeah, wow.
That worked, and then just I don't know, those smaller baits seem to work better in the deep. We find, like, for otherwise you're catching too much bycatch. You're getting the snapper, and you're getting the other things that sort of waste your time, like the dewies and all that. Like that's the bream are more likened to the smaller bait, so you're more likely to catch those bream that are schooling up with everything else. We've found. We shifted over a little bit, though, towards the end of the day on day one, which made a massive difference for us on day two, which was to go on to the Reflex. We started using a couple of weeks ago, and I was down there with my boat. I was playing around, and I had a handful of the new Reflex from Daiwa. I was just chucking them down there, and I think I had about 8 casts for 6 fish. So I was like, oh, yeah, they work, I only had the one colour, so I was sort of hesitant with that, but going back down this time I had a handful. So I was chucking that sort of late on day one and got a couple of key fish that I thought, knowing on day one, on day two we weren't going to have any wind. So switched out to a bit of straight through for day two, and that made a massive difference with the Reflex. So. Yeah,
okay. With the Reflex, part of the not that I've got any at the moment, but they swim on the way down, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They got a flutter. They don't spin and churn down to the bottom like a mussel does. They'll sort of actually drop and flutter on the way down. So when you're fishing 8, 9, 10 metres of water, that's imperative. Like, you weren't even getting a lift on them. You were just chucking them out. You lift up and you're on. That was it. Fish at that depth. So the biggest thing for us was fishing that clear water. Like, we didn't fish any dirty water all weekend. We didn't waste time fishing that dirty water. Found over the years when the fish go into spawn or go into pre-spawn, they'll school up and they'll tend to use that clear water. I don't know if they're using it to find each other or what, but they hone in on that clear water because I think they know the ocean's going to be sort of clear water as well. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know why they do it, but they find that clear water a bit more.
Yeah, okay.
When you're dropping a lure in 9 metres of water and it splashes on the surface in a glass out, you're sort of able to attract fish probably from 20 or 30 metres away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a ripper.
Yeah, wow. I can't wait. They're supposed to be in the shops. Well, they will, by the time this comes out, they'll be in the shops. But as we record it, they're supposed to be in the shops now, but I'm not sure they're quite there.
No, I don't think so. I haven't got my stash yet, so hopefully no one else has.
Fair enough. I wanted to go back to the 235s. You're fishing 1/6 and 1/8, so pretty heavy. What are you doing with them once they hit the bottom?
Mate, they were much similar. Like, just a cast. A lot of the time you're getting them on as soon as it hits the bottom. Like I say, when it's in that deep water and it's clear, they're just sort of following it as soon as it's splashed on the surface. So you only really get that first lift or hop And if the fish aren't already on it, then they're taking it on that first lift or hop. So that's why we sort of say it was like the basin fishing involved, because you're getting those fish on a big, long cast, and it's a long way out from the boat, and then the fish goes. So it's a good fight back to the boat. Like, I hate fishing in 10 metres of water, 30 feet. Like, it's boring as buggery. But when you're doing it there and it's on a full cast, full toss, you're getting plenty of double hookups, it's bloody fun. It's not like you just bottom dropping and it's deep. It is boring when it's like that. It's not like that down the basin. It's good fun.
You got to do a couple of things. You got to almost pretend like they have hit it without even seeing them hit it. So you're winding up your slack off the cast and you actually strike just before you get solid, just to sort of preempt that they're on it. That worked. And you also got to watch your line when it's slack. Any little weird movement, it's stopping or pausing or anything, you're just hitting it. You just don't know what it is. 9 times out of 10, it's a fish sort of on it, but you can't feel a thing and you've got to watch your line.
Yeah, okay.
The jellyfish definitely make it difficult down there this time of year. Well, not this time of year, just this year. Like, I think we've had salinity levels go crazy, and up and down the East Coast, like the jellies have just been nuts, absolutely nuts. I heard stories of the pros asking the government for money because they couldn't drag net enough, because they were just getting hammered by the jellies. So in the basin, it's plague proportion. And when you're fishing deep like that, you're either tangling up in jellies or you're feeling the jellyfish the entire time. So it was difficult to check it, make sure that you could feel the difference. Like it was difficult like that.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. On the Saturday, you end up with a good bag. You end up with 3.58. Does that have you in first place overnight?
Second.
Yeah,
that ended up being the third heaviest bag for the weekend. Our very good mates, Simon and Aaron, were actually in first place on day one. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
We were fishing within eyesight of each other pretty much all weekend, I think.
Yeah,
for most of the weekend anyway. But they were sort of fishing the deep early on day one. We were fishing much shallower and then sort of joined them out in the deep as the day went on. But all of our better fish on day one come within a foot of water. So it was just the zone. That was the clear sort of water closer to the mouth of the basin. That was where we were fishing. So
yeah, right. All right. Sunday comes around. You're in second place. What you get up to on the Sunday?
So basically, first up, we tried a couple of shallow spots straight away because of the fact that we had caught those bigger fish, but it was a ghost town. There was just no wind. We had an aluminium boat. We were noisy as shit because the aluminium sucks to fish out of. But we realised our weakness and then went deep pretty much straight away to try and fill a bag. We knew, like, in the basin, that place, we'd sort of said on pre-fish and just having a chat the night before, it's a comp where 6 kilos could win it. We'd sort of said all you got to do is get your bag each day. If you got 3 kilos each day, you're in with a shot. So to have a decent bag of 3.5 on day one, we knew we just need to get a bag for day two to stay fighting. So we just went deep and persisted on that. It was much more fun because it's glassed out too. Like fishing the deep with the glass out, it's hard. And it's hard. Like if you're not really paying attention, I would have loved to have had my live sight. If I had live sight down there, we would have had a very different day. But yeah, we were just fishing blind and just guesswork, mate. Like a bit of it, but educated guess, I guess you'd say.
I was going to say, after years and years of fishing it, it's kind of a little bit guesswork, a little bit memory, I guess.
Yeah.
Trusting in the lure, trusting in the technique as well, I think.
Yeah. And if you've gone straight out to the deep, was your go-to, were you going to throw the new Daiwa, or what was your thoughts there?
Well, we started out first thing in the morning on the prawn, on the 275 prawn. I think we were throwing the not UV, what's it called? Like the motor oil colour. Started out in that, and basically that, pretty sure that got our bag, didn't it, Rossi?
Yeah, pretty close to it, I think.
If it was anything else that we had on, I think we might have had like a Gulp Shrimp. We had a try. Oh, no, we had a Gulp Minnow. We tried a Gulp Minnow and might have got one fish that went in the bag. Oh, no, actually, I tell a lie, you were throwing a blade. You had that like a VX40 on. You were chucking that for a bit. That got 2 fish. I think that probably went in our bag. And then once we started to get a couple of fish on that blade, we went, let's chuck the reflex on and see what goes on again with that. And then that just bolstered out the rest of the bag. That was, we should have been throwing that the entire time, really.
Yeah, right. And you said you had limited colours. Was there anything stand out at this point?
Just black.
Black.
Just black. That was the VX that we were throwing too, just a black and orange VX. So we went, chuck on the reflex in black. I had the gloss black and I had the matte black, and I had the other colours like can't remember the name of the colour. I'm terrible like that, and I often send my apologies to companies like Daiwa that support me where I can't remember the names of their products, but it's like a prawny sort of looking sort of effect on it. I didn't really catch much on that, but I was surprised by that. I thought that one would have been the one that would have donged them. But no, they were after that mussel imitation or mussel look. So that was the one that worked. I had the white one on pre-fish, the one that looks like a cockle. And on pre-fish, that was the one I was catching. Good numbers with it. Sort of had a couple of casts, got 2 bites, another cast, got a fish, and I went, I'm putting that away. I've only got one of them. I don't want that tailored on pre-fish. And then on comp days, I probably didn't give that as much time as the black and the other colour, but once you're onto something that's working, you don't really change too much. So I'm yet to give that some more time.
Definitely. And throughout the day, did you lose any that would have made a difference?
Yeah, on day one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we lost a couple in the shallows, yeah. We probably should have been at least another 500 or 600 grams heavier on day one.
Ouch.
I think, yeah, that definitely hurt. Day 2, we drop a couple on day 2 in the morning.
It was day 1 where we didn't win it.
It hurt a lot, yeah. And they were late in the day too, fishing in shallow, and yeah, just one of them was poor angling, the other one was just a bad luck run with a fight with some cockleweed, and it just didn't turn our way. But another one I went too hard on, getting it out of some structure, and I just failed miserably as we watched the fish swim off with the lure in its mouth within eyesight of us for about 20 metres. It was a bit frustrating. But, what do you do? That was a good one. That would have definitely weighed the big bream, and it definitely would have given us at least another 600 grams in the bag. So.
Wow. Fair enough. So look, the Sunday, so you end up round out your bag pretty easily, it sounds. Was there many upgrades through the day?
Yeah. But by 5 mil, 10 mil, like I think by sort of 8 o'clock, we might have had a bag with like a 30 fork and all sort of 28 fork, I think. And we just ended up getting all day, ended up with a bag of 30 forkers and maybe 1 or 2 31 and 32s, something like that.
Yeah, it seems consistent.
Yeah, it was just a slow progression of doing the same thing over and over and over just to get those millimetre upgrades. It definitely made a big difference. It wasn't for lack of trying too. We tried quite a bit to try and search around some different areas and different water and different styles of fishing towards the end of day 1 to try and get the odd big fish, and it didn't work. So it's one of those things. We just sort of ground it out.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to just a bit of tackle. So, Mark, what's your go-to sort of combos for down on the basin?
So in the basin itself, I run that 7'4" in-feet Z. That's the rod of choice in there. Big long cast, nice and stiff. You can feel the bottom well. You can back off with it if you need to. Nice and sensitive. It seemed to do everything right. I couldn't get that rod out of Rossi's hand pretty much all weekend. I pair everything up. I don't run anything under a 2,500 size reel or a 2,500. I've got a few 3,000s. And in assorted reels, mate, from Erities, Luvius, Certates, you sort of name it. There's a good array of different reels there. line-wise, everything's 0.6. Running a new series of the 12-ply for the Saltiga. It's about, if it hasn't released, it's about to. Maybe not meant to say that. I don't know, but
This will be a while away, mate.
yeah, so it's a 12 carrier that I've been using in the chartreuse, and that's phenomenal. That's a good line. And then the crosslink leader. So basically everything was 4 pound. Didn't really, it's the basin, don't really, it's the basin, but yet I got done on a cockleweed that costs us the comp. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah, and then we're straight through, just running 4 pounds straight through on the, with the I think it's the J thread finesse. When we're running straight through. So, yeah, apart from that, we had a couple of the 7-foot 1-2 or the 712 rods. I didn't find that as good in that deeper water. Don't know. The basin's always been somewhere where we've always found a nice, long, stiff rod works well. When you hook those fish and they're going to give you a good fight, you can back off very easily. But at the same time, you need that length straight off, A, to get the cast, and then B, to be able to lift up nice and high, get a long lift up and feel those bites. It's something that we've always done down there with the heavier, stiffer rods.
Yeah, very good. And Glenn, mate, what's your rod of choice, mate?
Anything I'll give him.
Well, it's like
anything I'd tie for him.
Yeah, nah. I mean, why do I bring my own sort of older, cheaper stuff when I can use the top end Daiwa stuff? We're both left-handed winding as well, so we can just pick up any rod and go. So, yeah, that can't beat it. The sensitivity through those in-feeds was just amazing. Considering they're not like a skeleton grip or anything either, you can still feel everything through the grip, like someone's tapping the end of your rod. They're really nice.
Yeah, nice. So then, who ties all the leaders?
I do. He's not allowed. He's not allowed. It's a funny thing though. Like, truth be told, over the years, yeah, we've definitely learnt how each other fish, and everything that I have on my boats has been a culmination of learning from the two of us, like from Glenn and I. So there's no point him bringing any gear. Like, he doesn't bring any gear. There's no need. Like, all it's going to do is clog room on the boat. It's already here, so there's no need for us to double up on anything. And truth be told, like, my stuff gets looked after pretty sharply, so we want to maximise how much we can get those fish in the boat. I'm fishing a lot, mate, so it's to have the stuff nice, neat, tidy, and all brand new all the time. There's no point putting other stuff on the boat. We use the boat together. We do everything together. It's the same. It doesn't matter, like. We just use everything off my boat, and it makes it easier for the both of us. But yes, I tie all the knots. And if it ever costs us, we do not speak about it.
Now, I can't remember if it's you guys. I spoke about this before. Are you two the one, whoever's catching the best fish, are they allowed to coach the other one? Is that you guys?
That's right. You remember well, Deethy.
Yeah, that's very true.
So who was doing the coaching? What was going on?
It was a bit of back and forth, I think.
It was,
we were probably one of the better ones on the first morning, but I was giving it to him after he lost a couple in the shallows.
Yeah, a couple of good pointers.
But yeah, you go right into it. Yeah, like, your technique's all wrong. You're not lifting the rod high enough. You girl striking, everything.
When you're casting, can you stop landing your lure right on top of where I just fucking landed, please?
You should always trail a lure with one just behind it, because that's where the fish are.
That's your theory?
Fair enough. I'd like to be there for some of the coaching. I think that would be well worth watching.
Oh, mate. We've often said, like, if ever you want to film a comedy, it's on the boats with half the blokes fishing, right? Like, I remember when we were fishing the AFC one year, you're sitting there and you're fishing away and you think about how the edit's going to come up and all the funny stuff that went on during the day. I'm like, these guys are missing half of this. Like the stuff that goes on in and around the background, not the actual fishing, but the actual event, that's the gold.
That's the gold.
It is 100%. If you could capture that, if you could bottle that essence, you'd be well off. I'll tell you that much. But we've had some good experiences, some not so good experiences, and some bloody belly aches along the way. So it's definitely something that we won't stop doing anytime soon, isn't it, Rossi?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have fun, right? It's in the early days, it was all about, what lures work and this, that, and technique and that. And now it's just more sort of having fun. And I think that shows a lot too, just in being a bit more relaxed out there.
We definitely used to pay attention to what other people were doing. Like you'd look and you go, and that was simply because you weren't confident in your own ability. And now, I think now you sort of go into an event and it just doesn't even come into your head. You're just not even looking at anybody else the entire time. You're not even thinking about it, it's a comfortable day's fishing now when you put the experience under the belt sort of thing. So
not having to worry about what's working because you know that your sort of standard set of lures, your techniques that you've honed over years just work.
Yeah, it's going to happen. If it's not happening right now, give it time or work on your peak bite times and work on it's going to happen. So
yeah, 100%. All right, guys, let's move on. For second place, what do you guys get to take home?
I don't know. How much is it?
Well, there was a bit of paper with a number on it, and it said about, I think, 1,560 or something like that.
I didn't really want to talk about that because I haven't given him any money yet. Truth be told, you just reminded me to send him some.
Well, it sounds like he was all over it anyway, mate.
I've been borrowing money off my 18-year-old son. I can't eat.
Oh, there you go. All right. Look, last thing before we shoot off, was there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Both of our wives for letting us go. Apparently my wife didn't even know I was going, so definitely Danny for holding the fort with the big boy here. But yeah, I mean, Andrew and Justin that put us up for the weekend down there, they were great company. Those boys.
Yeah, Justin Eagles in his boat. So shout out to Justin Eagles, champion fellas. They're a really good company for the weekend, really good guys. Casting for a Cause is a couple of comps that they run and a very, very good cause. And whenever we can, we get involved in that. They do a session in Conjola. I think it was the weekend before, a couple of weeks before that comp in the basin.
When I was up to Clarence, I couldn't attend that one. Yeah, I was filming it.
And then October, November, they do one in Ecogear for the trout. And I highly recommend anyone that listens to this to get along to that. Look them up, Casting for a Cause on Facebook. That's an awesome event. That one in Ecogear has been running for many years. And the guys took over from another bunch of gentlemen that were running it out of Camden in southwest Sydney. And it's, a really good cause, Children's Hospital.
Previously, I think it was for cancer research and whatnot. And now it's for Children's Hospital and something close to our heart, which is the NICUs and the support that the Children's Hospital gives to families and the little ones. So really, really good cause. So, and mate, they are donating some major money. Like this is not a little bit of donation. Like we're talking over the period of time. It's I think it's well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the boys just in the last couple of comps that they've run, I think they're totaling around about the $40,000 to $50,000 mark. So, and we've been able to get support from Daiwa for that one, from Lawrence, from a few of the sponsors that was sort of going, well, kick the tin and jumped on board straight away. So really good in that respect. So it's something for everyone to watch moving forward because it's such a good, fun event. You get there, you have a barbie, you enjoy the conversations. There's guys in there that have never fished too much and now there's guys there that have fished their entire lives and not been able to experience what we experienced with the tournaments as well. So it's good to be able to cross it over we're getting them involved, they're getting us involved. So it's a really good event.
Fantastic.
But after that, I guess, thanks-wise, I guess, it goes without saying that the companies that support the spotters with the tackle, Daiwa, speaks for itself. The products are as perfect as they've ever been. Like, they're spot on. I can't knock them. The new Reflex is going to be something that's definitely going to turn heads. I think what Tommy and Taka have done with that is, I remember the first trial that I'd had with what Taka had given me and said, we're going to do something like this. We went for a fish. It would have been 2 years ago now. He goes, tie this on, have a cast with it. And literally first cast near Wanji boat ramp, I hooked a fish under a boat immediately. And I was like, they work. So I've been keenly watching what was, and like I say, that's 2 years ago. This is predating the craze of the mussel. Like, the mussel was available, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the fad that it is now. It was, and when Taka threw me that lure to throw, I wasn't throwing it and thinking of a mussel when I was throwing it. I was looking at it and thinking of it as what I thought it would be, a mask vibe, or simple too, And once he said to me, we'll do it in a few different colours, and we're thinking about a mussel sort of colour. We're thinking of a few things, and I thought, okay. And as we fished it during the day, I was fishing a mussel, and then I was fishing that, and it was, I thought, wow, this is going to be something. So thanks to Lawrence for continued support this year. The boat that we used had the HDS 12 Live on it. It was actually one of my old ones that I'd sold to Justin, and great for the side imaging, for the mapping. It was only one on the helm, so from the front of the boat, I was fishing blind, continually yelling at Rossi, what's the depth? So, but yeah, look, that they're a great company. I've been with them now for well over 10 years, and I've got no inkering of changing. What's coming in the future for those guys, I think, will be what changes the game again, as they have previously. So, massive thanks to them. And then on top of that, Power Pole, and obviously my company, Rise Above Plumbing, who we do a bit more advertising through the fishing now with Rise Above Plumbing with what we're doing. And I'm getting good returns out of the advertising for work. It's been good locally. Our local little community here really like their fishing in a big way in Wilton and the Southern Highlands, and the community have seen that I've sort of been doing a bit of advertising through the fishing and sharing it at what we do, and the conversation of fishing draws work for me. In honest, it works. So I think anybody that's used Rise Above Plumbing from having a look at, seeing the advertising on the boat, the car, and all that sort of stuff, and at the events, so we thank them. So couldn't, you say you couldn't do it without them, but I really couldn't if I didn't have the customers I have for work. So thanks to Rise Above Plumbing.
Very good.
Yeah, I've not got really too many, fishing.com, I don't have a sponsorship with Adam. That's not the case. I never have. We support Adam. That's our choice. He's a great friend of ours. We know that anybody that we send his way gets looked after immediately. Everybody knows that. So that's more of a joint partnership, I'd say, with fishing.com to support him. And I don't think will ever change. He's a true gentleman. And if someone comes to me and says, what can I get? Where can I go? I send them to Adam, because I know that I'm not going to get made to look stupid. Adam will look after him immediately. So that's important.
How's that claw thing he was chucking out the other day? Did you see that?
Yeah, I might have one or two of those.
That thing looks bloody awesome. I want to chuck that.
It's pretty cool, eh?
It's definitely a cool lure. It's nailed a couple of big fish so far too.
Yeah. It's definitely. I know the guys over in, I think, the Middle East and that have been throwing on what might be similar and having good effect with it. So it's a good looking idea, good looking concept. I like it.
Yeah, yep. Another one for the arsenal. All right, guys. Fantastic. Congratulations on that. And good to have a talk to both of you together, and hopefully we get to do so again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'd like to do it again. We enjoy it. It's good fun.
Good on you. Thank you.
See you, mate.
All right. So then coming in first place, I have Team Hooked Up DTH Plumbing. They dropped 5 fish for 3.35, backed it up on the Sunday with 5 fish for 3.46, giving them a total of 10 fish for 6.81. With me, I have Daniel and Stephen. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, Davey.
How you going?
Good. Not as good as you guys. Nice little win on the Basin there in the new series. You'd be pretty cheering about that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was a good start to that tournament.
Well, there you go. For the listeners who can't see anything because it's a podcast, Stephen's got the best wall behind him. Like it's a wall of lures. It's like I did ask if he was in a shop.
Over the years of collection.
Definitely. And I can see there's lots of different stuff there. Oh, yeah. So
there's a few.
Very, very cool. All right. Let's get round to it, guys. So with the winning bag, but did you guys get down there to have a bit of a pre-fish leading into the comp?
No, we left on Saturday morning at about 3 a.m. and drove down, and we'd like to get to places a little bit earlier. I don't know. Got a big thing of being late. So, but we just fished Saturday and then Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't like to be rushed in the start of comp day. I want to make sure everything's lined up and good to go.
So, correct. Yeah. Yep.
Very good. All right. Tell us about your Saturday. How'd you go catching fish? How'd you get your first fish?
It started off a bit tough. So we've usually got a run that we tend to do most tournaments that we do in the basin. It's towards the islands, just fishing edges.
Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much started there, just flicking plastics, Kitex, and hurricane sprats.
Okay.
Then we were fishing the edge, seeing a bit of cockleweed sticking out, and log in the water. So then I threw a shallow crank along the timber that was in the water, and then then we were able to catch the first fish on the shallow crank.
On the shallow crank. Okay. So moving on from there, how'd you get into the next fish?
Well, fighting all the about 40 flathead in between.
Yeah.
There was a massive range of species caught on that first day. So
okay.
Between all the flathead, we were still throwing the Kitex. So we were throwing a Kitex pack 3-inch.
Oh yeah. Which one was it? The 3-inch?
It's called a Shad Impact.
Okay, yeah.
So in the AU colour, just on a hidden weight, fishing. Basically, we were sitting in about 1.8 metres, casting up into 30 centimetres water. And then, just we're seeing fish. So Dan runs a live scope on his boat, so we can see fish moving it around. And then we're able to just, put our plastics into them. And then
it helped a lot that weekend.
Yeah, it did.
We don't, just to see where fish were, to be honest. I don't use it for proper live scope. I just use it just to look, to see if there's fish about, and then we just sort of cast them towards them, and then, because they move so quick around, so it's just, yeah.
And how's it go seeing bream and using to target bream?
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, okay.
As long as you got everything set right, you can see pretty much anything. Everything on the bottom is to them swimming around if they're suspended or wherever they are. It helped a lot that round. So.
Yeah, especially on the edges. So when fish, we just don't want to fish dead water. So us just keep moving until we find fish, cast the fish, and then you can see if they're not interested with the live scope, as if they're just swimming away. Or it's a bit funny how they'll come up to us like a game, and then you see them swim off. But if you didn't have that, you wouldn't know the fish were having a go at it or swimming towards it.
That's right. Yeah, that's really interesting. And with the shad impacts, and you're pitching up into the shallow water, so you're just ripping it out from there, or you're twitching it back?
I do a real aggressive shake with the rod. I would cast it and then give it real erratic shaking with the rod, and then let it pause, and then 9 times out of 10, they're hitting it once it's on the floor or once it's on the bottom. But I think the shaking, it allows, if it does get stuck in the cockleweed, it rips it out, and just the puff of sand coming away from the cockleweed gives them something to look at, and then they'll come in and find the bait.
Okay. Unless a flathead comes in first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of that. Yeah.
That happened a lot.
Did you get any big ones down there? You get any big flathead?
Dan got a good one.
Yeah, I got a 79.
Wow.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
but there was a lot
my PB for flatty.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. So you started to get them. Tell us about how the rest of your day.
We actually started moving around a little bit. We did our run, and then we moved over to the other side around to Errol Bay. Had a look over there. There was fish about, but there's not as many as we're sort of used to seeing there. We stayed there and fished that for a couple of hours towards the end of the day, and we got a few fish there, but probably not the quality as what we're used to seeing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we concentrated a fair bit near the island there.
Okay. And you ended up with sort of just over 3 kilos or 3.5 kilos. Were they consistent throughout the bag? Were they all 700 grammers, or what was the story?
I think on Saturday, we had one good fish around 900 grams. And then I think we had a 700, a few 600s. And then we upgraded a few 450s into 500s and 600s. But it was more try to get it was like you always had one good sized fish, and then the other ones were just decent sized fish that majority of the day. Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, and did you drop any? Did you lose any? You go, oh, that's a problem.
We dropped a couple. It wasn't that many. He had one good one there to say he thought it was a trevally, but I don't think it was. But
I like calling him a trevally when I don't see him.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It doesn't feel so bad then.
That's it. I saw the tail beat.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Well, look, you came, and actually, before we move off, you got the first one on a hard body. The rest of them come on plastics for the rest of the day?
So we finished filling the bag on with plastics, so with the Kitech and with the Hurricane Sprat. And we ended up getting one in our bag on a blade in Errol Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the Sprats, what colour do you like for the basin?
Cleaver, I think the main colour there.
It's kind of a green colour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, we swapped around a few colours though, because a little while back we were using the Sabre and stuff, and it was catching them too, and it didn't work this time round. So we did a bit of swapping around with baits, like colours and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as you got close to that AU colour, that's when they sort of...
That was about right.
Yeah. And then we was through stages where it was... I wasn't getting any on like a normal jig head, and Steve was getting on hidden weight, so I swapped to a hidden weight and then it sort of getting hits. But yeah, I was quite surprised.
Yeah. I was going to say a couple of things I noticed using the Sprats is they have a lot of colours that are quite similar.
Yeah.
But sometimes it makes a difference. You change to a different colour and it works. And the other thing that surprised me a lot was sometimes if you throw a different weight, it'll make a difference as well.
Yeah, of course.
Like a big difference.
Yeah, that's what we were having. I think Dan likes throwing it on a 1/20th. And
yeah, it was.
I like throwing them on a 1/16th, which is a little bit heavier, but I just find, I don't know, just the way that it falls, I prefer a 1/16th in a Sprat especially.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right. You came back with 3.35 on the Saturday. Where'd that have you overnight?
We were equal third.
Equal third, so right up there.
Yeah, with
right
three others. You're like with... And then we took off fourth. So it was... But it was sort of... We all had the same weight. It was... Who was it? It was... I think it was Marlowe. And then was the Shimano Garmin guys.
So tell us, you took off in a fourth. Tell us about how your day started.
We shot off to our normal run across the basin near the islands, and then we just literally we worked that area fairly well, and it wasn't producing as well as we thought.
There was no wind.
Yeah, it was hardly any wind, and then the wind started picking up, and then we took off Darrell Bay, and then So there was no wind over there either, so we left there. We did a lot of moving that on the Sunday.
Yeah, right.
But
Right, okay.
Had a lot of moving.
At 100 kilometres an hour.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in glassed out conditions, that would be unreal.
It was. But then the wind picked up towards the afternoon, and then that's when the fish sort of started fire. I don't think we had our first fish till probably 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we were saying, oh, geez, what do we got? Or we might have had one, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
A bit worried. We got to get our 5, and then obviously wind picked up a little bit, not much, but
yeah, Basin's a bit funny with no wind. It just turns the fish off, especially fishing edges and shallow.
Yeah.
You just need that little bit of ripple on the water just so the fish aren't as scarce on the edges.
Yeah, okay.
As soon as that picked up, we gave our first run another go because we knew it was holding fish. It just obviously the wind was making them not want to bite. And that's when we went back to our run, and then we picked probably 3 fish up pretty quick. Just average size fish, 500-gram fish. And then as soon as the wind got up to, I don't know, probably 10 knots, then we fished the islands, just fishing through all the cockleweed. And that's when we brought the hard bodies back out. And that's pretty much what did the damage on the Sunday.
Right. Okay. So shallow, running deep. What were you throwing?
Shallows in the Pro Lure cranks.
Okay. Nice. And what colour do you like down there?
I was running the black, and I think Dan was running the watermelon.
Watermelon, yeah.
Well, there you go. I was going to guess watermelon. That was my guess.
I usually like the combat colour, but
yeah, that didn't. Yeah, we tried the combat. We usually get good fish on it. Just I don't know. I think the UV, too much UV on some days. I don't know. Must put the fish off, but just that black and that watermelon was doing the damage on the Sunday.
Right. Okay. And how'd you go for fish? Did you get a bunch of them?
Even throughout the both of the days, we didn't get many numbers of fish. We were just able to at the end find a bit better quality fish, and that was just more rolling the cranks through the cockle and just hoping that we could find that bigger fish. And then on the Sunday we ended up getting just the fish just under a kilo on the Sunday.
Yeah, right.
And we didn't weigh that for big bream. That would have got big bream, but they kept saying if you've got fish over a kilo, weigh it. So we didn't. And then 9-10, I think, took big bream.
Ouch.
That's all right.
Can't win them all.
No, that's it. What I would say is the moon phases and the bite periods and what have you for this comp on the Sunday was 100 out of 100. So it's supposed to be the best day ever.
Oh.
But
really?
The second bite period was 12:42 through to 1:12.
Yeah, okay.
Which is rather short.
Yeah.
But it probably sounds like it lines up okay with what you guys did.
Wind change come, really. It was how that worked. But I was saying to Dan, if we were just going there for just a normal fish, but we would have had a ball. The amount of fish that we caught throughout the day was just crazy. We were catching EPs, Taylor, Trevally, Tar, Whiting, Snapper, even Tom. It was just it was crazy. The amount of
it was a good fisherman's basket, really.
Yeah, it was. It was there was no shortage of catching fish. It was just finding the bream species was the hardest battle of it all, really.
Okay. And if you're fishing in amongst the cockleweed, did you have any that ran you around and did donuts around the cockleweed?
No, not really. So we found that as soon as we hooked up, we pretty much electric straight to them, just trying to eliminate as much running around they can do around the cockle. Because I remember last tournament we fished there, probably last year for the East Coast Series, we got done by a few fish around the cockle. So we try to eliminate that happening as soon as we hook up electric towards them, and then hopefully that just stops them from going through too much, because we were finding that mostly the fish were hit, we were doing as long casts as we can with the wind, and then fish were hitting them within the 3 or 4 cranks of the handle. So they're they're out far, so less chance of them trying to run us in the weed. So we just try to chase them with the electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. I think that probably covers the fishing pretty well. What about lines and leaders and that sort of stuff? What were you guys running?
Dan can go.
I run that X-Braid pentagram, the 0.6, sorry.
0.6.
And then I just had 4 pound leaders of V-hard. I use a Sunline V-hard. I love it a bit. Yeah, but that was all weekend. Nothing light, nothing heavier, nothing lighter.
Yeah, it's the same.
That.
Running 4 pound on all the rods that I was running. And braids, I've got multiple different brands of braids, but yeah, I've used that 0.6 or 0.8 braid.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the leader's what's most important in terms of catching the fish, I think.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right, guys. For coming in first place, what do you guys get to take home?
27.70.
Very nice. That's nice for a weekend out with your buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, look, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone that you guys want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, yeah, I'll go. Obviously, Dane from Zeus Tackle, he's a good mate of ours and he's started up his new shop. So that, but also I'll thank Adam from fishing.com as well, because he done a lot of stuff through him as well. So sort of used the both of them. But yeah, just two of the good guys in the industry. So, but yeah, Steve.
Yeah, same. Zeus Tackle, mate of ours. Yeah, just trying to help him out in his business, promote his business, wear his shirts in the comps. Yeah, and our partners for letting us go fishing.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, look, congratulations for taking the win. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on the show. And hopefully we get to catch up with you again later in the season.
No worries. Thank you.
Hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there you have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that one. Like I said, one of my favorite places to fish, a place that's been really good to me and really hard on me. But I think that's all part of fishing. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up quickly. We're just going to call it a day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.